I'm podcast award winner Hank Davis, and I want to give you my thoughts on the Rodecaster Duo after having it for about a year. And I have used it as my daily driver almost exclusively. I still own and use my Tascam Mixcast 4, but I would say that the Rodecaster Duo is in line 90% of the time when I'm recording podcasts, live streaming, etc. So when it comes to the things I truly enjoy about the unit, first and foremost is the small format. This is like a dream format for the Rodecaster, in my opinion, because I've always just wanted a 1 or 2 channel device. Since I record alone, it could be 1 channel, but 2 channels fine as well. And to piggyback on that, the included VESA mount on the bottom is just spectacular. Getting the device up and off the desk, being able to push it out of frame if I choose to, and have it out of the shot if I don't want it in the shot, and still be able to reach it, see the screen clearly, get all the buttons, etc., is just spectacular. I love that they did that with this unit. Next up, the ability to record on the unit. Absolutely love that ability that Rode introduced all those years ago and has carried forward on these new units. Love that I can record in stereo or multi-track at just a few presses of the menu screen and get in there and change that. One thing I think is absolutely well thought out and a stellar inclusion is the ability to press the record and have it act as a pause. I can't tell you how many times I would press the record, the physical record button on units, and try to get it to act as a pause, but it wouldn't work properly or what have you. But this one is perfectly implemented, and it saves disaster for somebody like me that is constantly making errors when I'm recording a podcast. Another huge plus on this unit has been the dual USB. So I have 2 PCs right within reach. So if I want to use one computer over the other, it's no big deal. The inclusion of combo jacks really helps set this device apart. And there's even the setting for line input devices coming into channel 1 and channel 2. One of the things I really like about the unit is this rotary knob right here. So when I'm diving into the menus, instead of trying to tap the screen with precision and such, I can just take this knob and just twist her to exactly where I'm trying to get. Another implementation that I like is the microphone presets within the device. Now, the reason I like that is I don't use the processing. I don't have the processing turned on now. I never turn it on unless I'm testing something with processing. But as far as for recording and making videos and stuff, I never turn that stuff on. But what I do like it for is just to get me to the right gain setting. So I can hit the Shure SM7B. It says 55 dB a gain, and presto, off we go. I really love the angled screen on the Duo, and it makes it just so much easier to navigate and read the screen. And lastly, one thing I like that I didn't think I would care about at first was the illumination on the knobs. As you can see, as you turn it up and turn it down, the knob will illuminate for filling. And the reason I like it is because I will often take a pair of headphones and I'll just twist them and have them sit on the desk, or they'll be on my shoulder or what have you, and I'll crank the volume all the way up and so I can hear it, but I don't want them on my head, and I'm too, lazy to hit the monitors that are just out of the screenshot here. And I will do it like that. I'll just listen like that. So I'll have this cranked up, and in the past, I would destroy my hearing because I wouldn't think about it, put the headphones on, play something, and get sent into the afterworld. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe and be sure to like this video as well. This past year of use hasn't been all peachy keen. There are several things I don't like about the Rodecaster Duo, and I'll go over them right now. At the absolute top of the list, Rode, are you listening? Please, in the next device, change the power button back to the original Rodecaster. This thing has a miss ratio of, I would say I miss out of 2 to 3 presses, I will get one that registers when it comes to powering on. I don't have any issue when it comes to powering off for some reason, because I'll press the button, I will walk away, and I'll come back and it's still not on. And I go, what the heck happened? Why isn't it on? I hit it again. And I have to physically sit here and make sure it's coming on first, which leads me to my next complaint, which would be the time it takes to power on and power off. Now, I know in a recent firmware that they reduced the time. I think mine's around 26 seconds, but it's still a long time to sit there and wait for it to kick in. I know there's a lot of processing and stuff on board, but I hope they can figure out a way to where it just starts up a lot quicker. If we could get that down to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, would be amazing. Next, it would be the functionality of the TRRS port. So for gaming headsets and stuff, works just fine. When it comes to connecting a cell phone to that port, you have to do my little workaround. I have a video on that. I'll try to put it in the description. I'll put the cable that you need on there. But outside of me finding that little workaround, it's a little annoying that it doesn't function as a typical TRRS port has been known to function, where you can plug in a cell phone with an adapter if you don't have the old school TRRS port on your phone. But I wish it just functioned like that out of the box instead of needing that special cable to do it. Next, for me, would be the processing presets. I never use them, as I stated earlier. When I have tried them just for testing and such, I just find them to be kind of heavy-handed in some areas, especially when it comes to the noise gating and such. But I understand that it works well for some people, or they don't mind the settings and such. But to me, sometimes when I hear people using those settings on their videos, the compression sounds really heavy, like overly processed. And then the gating, you can hear the gate opening, closing, opening, closing. I should say it's cool that they include the processing and the ability to fine tune it to the way you want. What would be cool is if they had a repository somewhere for like tweaked settings, and you could get the Bark from Obscure Mics. He has his own tweak setting, and I could go download it and just upload it here and use it. If you feel differently, that's totally fine. I respect that. Just for me, kind of heavy-handed, and I don't use them. And lastly, the reduction of sound pads from 8 to 6 is just a little bit frustrating. I wish they would have made the buttons a little smaller and just kept it at 8. And there's just no reason that the buttons have to be this big, in my opinion. I would have them be much smaller. Maybe not as small as the ones up here, but just a little bit in between that and what they have offered us here. Going from 8 to 6 buttons is a little tough, but giving us the ability to scroll across the screen is pretty cool, so you can get to the next bank of pads quickly and such. So I have mine split up: show opening, show middle, show closing sound effects. And to piggyback on that, I kind of wish that I could touch the touch screen and trigger more. So maybe I could be set to bank 2 here, but on the touch screen be set to bank 1, and they function independently of each other, and I could just tap whatever sound effect I wanted up there and get that sound effect. Tap whatever one down here. So essentially going from 6 sound effects to 12. That would do the trick. But I don't know if there's a UI situation that would make that impossible or what have you, but just food for thought for Rode. The Rodecaster Duo is worth every penny. $499. Definitely would pay that all over again. It has been my favorite audio interface that I've ever used. I have heard from people that there are issues that people are experiencing with the Rodecaster 2 and the Rodecaster Duo. I personally have not had any of those issues. So for my use case, I love this unit. I recommend it to anybody in the market for one. Link in the description if you don't own one and you're interested in checking one out. The Rodecaster Duo is easily my favorite audio interface I've used, with the Rodecaster Pro 2 in second and the Tascam Mixcast 4 in third when it comes to this format of device. But those are just my thoughts. You can chime in the comments down below. As always, Thank you.